Hello and welcome to Nullitaire Gaming, where we play games with 0 players. In other words, we play bots or AI against one another. And in this series, we're playing Imperium, both classics and legends. And we're playing a tournament. We've put all the nations up against each other in a single elimination tournament, and we're going to see who wins. We've played a few games of the tournament already. So if you haven't seen any of those, I recommend you begin at the beginning. You should especially watch the first video if you haven't seen it, because I describe setup and some of the other particularities of the way I play this game, Nullitaire. Okay, so I'll put a link in the description of this video to the entire playlist, so you can start from the beginning if you like. All right, so here's where we stand in the tournament so far. We've played 3 games. The Arthurians, the Egyptians, and the Persians have moved on to the next round. And in this video, we're going to play the Minoans versus the Atlanteans. Okay, let's get going. Okay, we're set up and ready to play. As usual, I randomly determined who would go first, and the Atlanteans won the coin toss, so they'll be first player. And as usual, first player's on the left, and their hand is here on the top row. And the Minoans will be the second player, and they're on the right, and their hand is the bottom row. And once again, I put their decks in line with that row to kind of remind me where their hand is. Also, the Atlanteans play a little differently than the other bots. For one thing, they start as an empire. They're just always an empire, which means that they only have one chart. They just have an empire chart. And that means their dynasty deck is a little different. There's no full moon card that makes them turn into an empire, for example. Okay, but otherwise they play more or less the same. Okay, let's get going. The Atlanteans start by rolling a 1, and their first play is Unrest. Easy. Second card is Elysian Fields, a region card. Alright, so let's check out their chart. They start with Barbarian, no. Fame, no. Myths and Legends, no. Region. Okay, this is a region. Exile a card from the market, play this region. Once again, whenever a bot exiles a card from the market, they start from the left, and they just take the first card that doesn't have any tokens on it. So that will be the Assyrians. The next card for the Atlanteans is more Unrest. And then finally, Atlantean Fleet, which is an attack and an empire card. So let's see here. Barbarian Fame, Myth and Legends, region pinned, no. Prosperity, no. Attack. Okay, this is an attack card. Okay, acquire any card, steal 1 progress, and you recall a region. Once again, when it says you in bold letterings in these charts, that means the other bot. So they would force the Minoans to recall a region. The Minoans don't have any regions in play. They haven't they haven't done anything yet, so that won't do anything. They also won't steal a progress because the Minoans don't have any. So they will simply acquire a card. So the Atlanteans are going to acquire the card in the market that has the highest victory points, if possible. This card is worth 1, this one's 0, this one is 5. All asterisks are treated as 5. Plus 1 for the progress, so this one is 6 total. This one's 1, this one's 0. So clearly they're going to take urban development, including the progress on it and including the unrest. That's the end of the Atlanteans' turn. So they'll place a progress marker on the card in the 1 slot, and then they'll refill their hand. The Minoans also start by rolling a 1, and their first card is Prosperity. Okay, so the Minoans, their barbarian table here. Let's see, it's not Fame, not Glory, not Advance, not Conquer, it's not a region, it's not Barbarians, not Pinned. Alright, we get all the way to Other. If able, spend a progress to acquire a civilized card. Can't do that, don't have any progress. Otherwise, gain 1 progress and put this card into history. Okay, that's what they're going to do. The next card is a region card, Thera, or Terra, not sure. Anyway, region card. So region will come up first. Play the region, exile a card. They will exile Marsh because Mysticism has a token on it. Next card is Unrest. Back to the pile. And then, oh, more Unrest. How exciting. Okay, so that's the end of Minoan's turn. They place another progress token on the card in the 1 slot, and they will refill their hand. The Atlanteans roll a 6 this time, so they're going to play all their cards. And the first one is, what fun, Unrest again. Okay, so the next card is, oh goody, more Unrest. Wow, okay. Here's something that's not Unrest. Urban Development. Okay, so this is a civilized card that's also got the Empire symbol. So let's take a look at their chart. Oops, it's not Barbarian, not Fame, not Myths and Legends. It's not Pinned. Prosperity. Okay, we get all the way to Empire here. If able, history a played region to acquire any. I don't know what that means. It's kind of garbled English. History a played region to acquire any. Otherwise, breakthrough for a region. Put this card into history. Okay, I guess that means take a region in play, put it in history to acquire any card. Alright, probably going to have to do a little research to find out what that's supposed to mean. Okay, so I did a little research, and I went to Board Game Geek and saw other people that asked this question. And Nigel Buckle, one of the designers of this game, is very good about answering questions, I've found, and he has responded to this one. So yeah, it does mean to put this card in. Put a region into history, and then acquire any card in the market. It's a little strange to say acquire any, right? Because I mean, look here. This is how we say acquire any. Right above it, we've written it in the way I'm used to seeing it. Acquire any, basically. So it's a little weird here. Maybe they meant to change that and never did. I don't know. Anyway, that's what it means. Okay, so the Atlanteans do have a region in play, so they can put it into history to acquire any card. So that's what they're going to do. The card worth the most in the market is Exports, so they'll take that one. And the Urban Development card goes into history. So we'll put it under there. The next card is a region, Tool or Thule. Not sure how you say that. Okay, so it is a region card. So exile a card from the market and play this region. This time they'll exile Step. The last card for the Atlanteans is Flood, which is an Empire card. Doesn't have any other symbols on it. So we'll go all the way down to Empire. And we have the same thing again. History of played region. They just put a region in place so they can do that. So they'll do that to acquire any card, and then Flood will go into history. Because of the progress tokens, Mysticism is worth the most, so they'll take that one. Okay, that's the end of the Atlanteans' turn. They don't place any progress since they rolled a 6, and they'll refill their hand. The Minoans roll a 4, and they start with the Advance card. There's a Barbarian card. I think it's actually named here. Yeah, okay. Advance. If able, spend a progress to acquire a Civilized card. Yes, they can do that. Otherwise, okay, so that's what they're going to do. They'll spend a progress to acquire a Civilized card. There are 2 Civilized cards in the market. Again, I got to be careful. Don't just look at the banners. Little tip from me. Look at the symbols here, because this is actually a Civilized card, even though it's got a green banner. So you got to be careful. Sometimes there's civilized and uncivilized on the same card. So they could take either one of these 2. This one's worth more, so they're going to take Metropolis. Here's Crete, a region card. So we're going to play the region and exile a card from the market. The Hittites will be exiled. Next is Pottery, which is Pinned and Barbarian. Let's see. What do we get here? It's not Fame or Glory or Advance or Conquer or Region. Okay, Barbarian. Gain a progress, put this card into history. Last card for the Minoans is Cyprus, region card. So they're going to play it and then exile a card. So they will exile the Sumerians. Okay, that's the end of the Minoans' turn, so they'll place a progress marker on the 4 card. Slide that down and refill their hand. They didn't quite have enough cards to fill their hand, so as usual, they take a card off the Dynasty deck and put it in their discard and shuffle. The Atlantean turn now, they roll a 5 and start with Unrest. As usual. Okay. And then Mysticism is next, an uncivilized card that's pinned. So let's see what they want to do with that. Okay, Barbarian Glory. Okay, pinned right here is first, yes. Acquire any card and put this card into history. So these 2 cards are worth the most in the market. They're both worth 2. This one has 2 printed on it. This has 1, but it also has a progress, so they're both 2. And so the first tiebreaker is whichever card has the most tokens on it. So they're going to take Gambling. Next card is More Unrest. Atlanteans seem to get a lot of that. I guess they're acquiring a lot of cards, so that makes sense. Okay, Exports is next. A civilized card that's Attack and Empire. I think Attack comes first. Yeah, right there. Okay. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Minoans to recall a region. Okay, the Minoans do have some progress, so they're going to steal that from them. And the Minoans do have some regions in play, so they'll be forced to recall one. Okay. So the Atlanteans are going to acquire a card first. Education is worth the most, so they'll take that one. And then the Minoans are forced to recall a region, so they take the latest one they played, and it will go right on top of their deck, be recalled. And they're going to steal a progress as well. That's it for the Atlanteans. They place progress on the 5 card. Slide this down and refill their hand. The Minoans roll a 2 and start with Unrest. Why not? Okay. Next card is Metropolis, which is a civilized card that's pinned and Empire. So let's see. None of that. Okay, we get to pinned, it seems. Yeah. Gain a progress and put this card in history. Easy. The next card is Conquer, which I believe is named here for the Minoans. Yeah. If able, spend a progress. Hey, they just got one, so they can do that. To acquire a tributary. Problem is there are no tributaries in the market right now. Okay, so they do have the progress, but there are no tributaries to acquire, so they can't do that. So otherwise acquire a region. Yes, they can do that because there's one region in the market, Peninsula, so they'll take that. Last card for the Minoans is Advance, which is also a named card for them. If able, spend a progress token, again they have some, to acquire a civilized card. Okay, there is a civilized card in the market, so they can do that one this time. Okay, so that's what they'll do. There's only one civilized card, so they'll take Onager. That's it for the Minoans, so they'll place progress on the 2 card in the market and refill their hand. The Atlanteans roll a 3, and of course they'll start with Unrest, right? Oh, no. Doing something different this time. Okay, they start with Flood, which is an Empire card. Okay, it doesn't have any other symbols on it, so we get all the way to Empire. If able, history of played region to acquire any card. Okay, they don't have any regions in play anymore, so they can't do that. Otherwise, break through for a region, and then this card goes into history. Okay, when the bots break through, of course, they just take something in the market if they can, and they'll only go to the decks if there's nothing appropriate in the market for what they're after. But in this case, there is a region in the market, so they'll just take it. Oh, there's the Unrest. Okay. Oh, more Unrest. What a surprise. Okay. Last card for the Atlanteans is Gambling. I guess that makes sense. The Atlantis. Yeah, gambling. Oh, okay. Alright, well that is a an uncivilized and civilized card, but it doesn't have any other symbols on it, so I think we're going to get all the way to other here. Yeah, okay. So, place the top card from the Dynasty deck into the discard pile and put this card into history. Alright. That's all for the Atlanteans. You place Progress on the 3 card and refill their hand. The Minoans also start by rolling a 3, and of course they're going to begin with Unrest. Oh, they actually do start with Unrest. Alright, next card. Hey, what do you know? More Unrest. Okay. Alright, Peninsula, region card. So they're going to play this card and then exile a card from the market. So they will exile Elders. Last card is another region, Cyprus. So we should have a repeat. Yep, play this region, exile a card. This time Civil Service is exiled. That's all for the Minoans, so they'll place Progress on the 3 card and refill their hand. But they don't have enough cards. They only have 1 card here. So play that, and then a card from the Dynasty deck will go into discard, and they'll shuffle. The Atlanteans roll a 4, and they start with Education, the Civilized Empire card. So we'll get down to Empire here. If able, History of Region. Okay, they don't have any regions in play to do that, so they'll break through for a region, and then this card will go to History. So they will take Archipelago. The next card is a region, Mountain, those famous Atlantean mountains. I mean, I guess there are mountains underwater, right? That can happen. Okay, so exile a card from the market and play the region. It's interesting that this one is written the other way. Usually on these charts it says play the region, then exile a card, but this one's the other way. This whole chart seems a little bit upside down from the usual way these are written. Anyway, okay, so we'll exile a card from the market and play this region. The Scythians will be exiled this time. Here's another flood. That seems to happen a lot in Atlantis. Okay, it's an Empire card. Has no other markings, so we'll get all the way down here. Alright, so we do have a region, Atlanteans do have a region in play now, so they can put it in history to acquire any card. And then Flood will go into history. The card worth the most in the market right now is Pharmacy. It's worth a total of 4, so they'll take that one. Last card for the Atlanteans is Hesperides, I guess. Okay, a region card, so we know what's going to happen. We're going to play the region and exile a card from the market. This time Astronomy is exiled. The Atlanteans in their turn by placing Progress on the 4 card, and they'll refill their hand. Didn't quite have enough cards, so as usual, 1 card comes off the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. The Minoans roll a 2, and they start with Onager, an Attack and Empire card. They don't seem to care about Attack, or Empire for that matter. Okay, so I guess this is going to be an Other card. Yeah, it's not Fame, Glory, Advance, Conquer, not a region, not Barbarian, not Pin. Okay, Other. If able, spend Progress, yes, they do have one, to acquire a Civilized card. There is a Civilized card in the market, so they can do that. Otherwise, okay, so that's what they're going to do. The only Civilized card in the market is Corruption, so they'll take that. Next card is Conquer, which is a named card for the Minoans here. If able, spend a Progress to acquire a Tributary. Well, there's a Tributary in the market, but now the Minoans don't have any Progress, so they can't do that. Otherwise, acquire a region. Okay, they can do that. So they'll acquire the Jungle. Next card is Advance, which is named here. If able, spend a Progress. They don't have any. Otherwise, if able, acquire an Uncivilized card. Yeah, they can do that. There are a couple of options. The Shrine here is worth 2, 1 Progress and 1 written on it, and Invasion is also worth 2. So the first tiebreaker is the most tokens. They're tied in that regard. Second tiebreaker is the card in the lowest slot, so furthest to the left. So they'll take Shrine. Last card for the Minoans is Knossos, which is a pinned card. So gain a progress and put this card into history. That's all for the Minoans, so they'll place progress on the card of the 2 slot and refill their hand. The Atlanteans roll a 3 and they start with Prosperity, which is an Empire card. It's also named here. Okay. Alright, so gain a progress per played region. You may draw a card. Okay. So the Atlanteans are going to get 1 progress because they have 1 region in play. And then the Minoans, it says you may draw a card, so that refers to the Minoans because it's in bold and says you. But bots don't draw cards, therefore they just discard the top card of their deck. Next card is Unrest. And then we have a region, Archipelago. So that means the region is going to be played, and then we'll exile a card from the market. Mercenaries will be exiled this time. Last card for the Atlanteans is Exports, which is Attack and Empire. The attack comes first. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and then force the Minoans to recall a region. Okay, the Minoans do have progress and they do have regions in play, so both of those will happen. But the Atlanteans will acquire a card first. The card worth the most in the market is this one, Agriculture. It has the asterisk, so that's 5, plus 1 for progress, so that's worth 6 total. And the Atlanteans are also going to steal a progress from the Minoans and force them to recall the latest region. Okay, so the Atlanteans in their turn by placing progress on the card in the 3 slot and refilling their hand. The Minoans roll a 5 and they start with Writing Systems, which is a pinned card. So let's see, pinned is here. No other interesting markings on that card. Gain a progress, put this card into history. Next card is Unrest. And then Shrine, which is both pinned and Barbarian. Barbarian is first. Okay. Gain a progress, put this card in history. Last card for the Minoans is that famous Minoan jungle. Okay, which is a region card. Play the region, exile a card. Jade Mask will be exiled this time. So the Minoans in their turn by placing progress on the 5 card and refilling their hand. They don't have enough cards here. They only have 1 card in their deck. So that means another card from the Dynasty deck into discard, and they'll shuffle. The Atlanteans now, they start by rolling a 3, and the first card is Pharmacy, which is both pinned and Empire. So pinned comes up first. Yep. Acquire any card and put this card into history. The card in the market worth the most is Oracle, so they'll acquire that one. Next card is Unrest. And then Atlantean Fleet, which is both Attack and Empire. Attack comes first. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Minoans to recall a region. Okay, they can do all that. The card worth the most in the market now is Chin, so they'll take that. They'll also steal a progress from the Minoans and force them to recall their jungle. Last card is a region, Mountain of Atlantis. So I guess there are mountains in Atlantis. Okay. It's a region card, so we know what that means. Play it and exile a card from the market. So another copy of Jade Mask will be exiled. The Atlanteans in their turn by placing progress on the 3 card in the market and refilling their hand. The Minoans roll a 6, so they're going to play all their cards. And how are they going to start? Well, you guessed it. Unrest. Okay, next card is Cyprus. A region. So they're going to play the region and exile a card from the market. The Greeks will be exiled. Next card is more Unrest. And then Advance. which says, if able, spend 1 progress to acquire a civilized card. Okay, they can do that this time. They have progress, and there is a civilized card in the market. There are 2 civilized cards in the market, Corruption and City. Corruption is worth more, so they'll take that. Last card for the Minoans is Corruption. Didn't they just acquire that? Okay. So it's attack and it's empire. I don't think they care about either of those. No, so we're going to get to other on this one. Okay, if able, spend 1 progress to acquire a civilized card. There aren't any civilized cards in the market anymore, so I can't do that. Otherwise, gain a resource and put this card into history. So it'll do that. That's it for the Minoans. They don't place progress because they rolled a 6. They'll just refill their hand. The Atlanteans now start by rolling a 3. And they have Agriculture as their first card, which is a pinned card. So pinned. Acquire any card and put this card into history. The card worth the most is Etruscans, so they'll take that one. Next card for the Atlanteans is Unrest. And then more Unrest. And finally Oracle, which is a Barbarian card. Okay, top of the list. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Return any Unrest from discard. If able, put this card into history. Oh, if able, sorry. Return any Unrest from discard if able, and put this card into history. Okay. Well, no surprise. As soon as they discarded the top card of their deck, it was Unrest, so they get to automatically send that back. And this card's going to go into history. Okay, it's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They place progress on the 3 card and refill their hand. They're not going to have enough cards. They only have 2 in their deck. So, a new card from the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. The Minoans roll a 6 again, so they're going to play all their cards, and they're going to start with Unrest. What a surprise. Okay, next card is Corruption, which is attack and empire, and again they don't care about either one of those. So if able, spend a progress to acquire a civilized card. Yes, they can do that. Okay, so that's what they're going to do. There are 2 civilized cards in the market. City here has the civilized icon, and so does Temple. This one's clearly worth the most. It's worth 6, so they're going to take Temple. Hey, there's that Minoan jungle. So they're going to play it and exile a card. This time, Island is exiled. Next card is Conquer, which is a named card for them. If able, spend a progress to acquire a tributary. Well, there aren't any tributaries in the market, so that won't work. So otherwise, they're going to acquire a region. And there is a region in the market, so they can do that. So they'll acquire the only region in the market, which is Forest. Okay, last card for the Minoans is Onager, which is attack and empire. And again, the Minoans don't care about either of those. So if able, spend 1 progress to acquire a civilized card. Well, there's still no civilized cards in the market, so they can't do that. Otherwise, gain a progress and put this card into history. So they'll do that second thing. That's the end of the Minoan turn. They don't place progress because they rolled a 6. They'll refill their hand. They only have 3 cards. So I'll go to the Dynasty deck and shuffle. The Atlanteans now start by rolling a 4, and the first card plays a tributary, the Chin, which is a pinned card. I don't think they care about tributary. Nope. Okay, so pinned is first. Acquire any card and put this card into history. The card worth the most right now is Invasion because it has that progress token on it, so they'll take that one. The next card is also a tributary, Etruscans, but they have the Barbarian symbol, so that will be top of the charts here. Discard the top card of the bot deck, return any Unrest if able, and then put this card into history. And once again, as soon as they discarded the top card, it was Unrest, so this goes immediately back to history. Oh, sorry, back to the Unrest pile, and this card goes to history. Next card is a region, the Miskra, I guess. Something like that. Okay, So we know what's going to happen. We're going to play this region and exile a card. Art will be exiled this time. Last card for the Atlanteans is Exports, which is Attack and Empire. Attack comes first. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Minoans to recall a region. The card in the market worth the most right now is Carthaginians over here, so they'll acquire that one. Then they'll steal a progress and force the Minoans to recall their jungle again. That's it for the Atlanteans. They place progress on the 4 card and refill their hand. The Minoans start their turn by rolling a 5, and the first card is a forest, which is a region, which of course means they're going to play it and then exile a card from the market. Woodland gets exiled. Unrest is next. Then Temple, which is Pinned and Empire. So Pinned comes up here. Gain a progress, put this card into history. Advance is next. So for advance, if able, spend a progress to acquire a civilized card. Yeah, they can do that. So they'll do that. There are 2 civilized cards in the market. City over here is worth 1 victory point, and City over here is worth 1 victory point. However, this one has a progress token on it, so they'll take that one. That's it for the Minoans. They'll place a progress token on the 5 card and refill their hand. The Atlanteans start by rolling a 1, and their first card play is their favorite card. The rest. Okay, second is Carthaginians, which is a tributary and attack card. So I think attack is where they'll go here. Yeah. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Minoans to recall a region. Domestication is worth the most in the market right now, so they'll take that. And they'll do one of their other favorite activities, which is steal from the Minoans and force them to recall a region. Next card for the Atlanteans is Invasion, another attack card. So probably going to have a repeat of the last card. Yep. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Minoans to recall a region. This time Fortunate Isle is worth the most, so they'll take that. And again, steal a progress and force the Minoans to recall a region. Last card for the Atlanteans is Palace of Poseidon, which is both Pinned and Empire. But Pinned comes first, I believe. Yeah. Acquire any card, put this card into history. Nothing but low value cards in the market right now. These 2 regions are worth 0, and these 3 cards in the middle here are worth 1 each. So first tiebreaker would be most tokens. There are no tokens on any of these. So then second tiebreaker is just whatever is in the lowest slot. So they'll take City. That's it for the Atlanteans. Place progress on the number 1 card and refill their hand. The Minoans roll a 3. They start with Corruption, which is an attack and well, it is civilized, but also Empire. The Minoans don't care about any of that. So if able, spend a progress to acquire a civilized card. They've got progress, but there are no civilized cards. No, that's not true. There is a civilized card in the market. Okay. Again, I was looking at the banners. Don't look at the banners, look at the icons. This one is a civilized card. Okay, so they can acquire that one. So they spend a progress, and they'll acquire diplomacy. The next card is Unrest. And then Jungle. So a region, we know what that means. They're going to play the region and exile a card. This time the first card has a token on it, so they go to the second card and exile Elders. Last card for the Minoans is Conquer, which is a barbarian card. So I think we go here. Gain a progress, put this card into history. Wait, no, that's not right. Conquer's a named card for the Minoans, so we do this one. Okay. If able, spend 1 progress to acquire a tributary. Yeah, they can do that. They have a progress, there's a tributary in the market. So they'll acquire the Macedonians. Okay, the main deck is now empty, so that means scoring is triggered. So we're going to finish this turn, which happens to be the very end of the Minoans' turn, and then each player will get, well, there'll be one more round. So the Atlanteans will get one more turn, the Minoans will get one more turn, and then that'll be it. We'll score and see who wins. So the Minoans end their turn by placing progress on the 3 card in the market, and they'll refill their hand. The Atlanteans roll a 4, and their first card is Prosperity, which is an Empire card. No, it's a named card for them, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Prosperity. Gain a progress per played region. Well, they have 4 in play, so they're going to gain 4 progress. And the Minoans will discard the top card of their deck. The next card is Unrest. And then City, which is a pinned card. Okay, so pinned. Acquire any card, put this card into history. So the card in the market worth the most right now is Town. It's got that question mark on it. And we always treat that as whatever the highest victory point value would be. So in this case it's just 2. So this is worth 2 plus 1 for the progress, so Town is worth the most, they'll take it. Last card for the Atlanteans is totally appropriate. It's Unrest. Okay, so they'll place a progress token on the 4 card in the market, and slide that down and refill their hand. I think they have enough, so I don't think they'll get another card from... Nope, they have just enough, so they won't get another card from their Dynasty deck before the end of the game. Okay, last turn of the game, the Minoans also roll a 4. They start with a City card, which is a pinned card. And that means that they're going to gain a progress and put this card into history. The next card is Unrest. And then Macedonians, a tributary card. Doesn't have any other symbols on it, and the Minoans don't care about a tributary card. So if able, spend a progress to acquire a civilized card. Well, there aren't any civilized cards left in the market, so they can't do that. Otherwise, gain a progress and put this card into history. So they'll do that second thing. Okay, last card of the game is Diplomacy, which doesn't have any markings on it, except civilized and uncivilized, but the Minoans won't care about that. So we're back to Other. If able, spend 1 progress to acquire a civilized card. Again, there aren't any. So they'll gain a progress and put this card into history. Okay, that's the end of the Minoans' turn. Just to make sure we finish things off properly, let's place progress as normal, and we'll see if they can refill their hand. They have 2 cards, so they cannot. Okay, so they're going to take another Dynasty card. Hey, King Minos. Okay, so at the very last second, the Minoans become an empire. Probably too little too late on that, but anyway. They'll shuffle this deck, and, well, that'll be it. They have at least 2 cards, so they'll be able to refill their deck. Okay, so that's the end of the game. Let's do the score. Okay, we're ready to score the game now. And I don't know how it felt watching that, but playing it, it felt like the Atlanteans basically just ran away with the game. I mean, it doesn't seem like the Minoans really have any shot here. The thing is, the Atlanteans, I mean, they kept stealing from the Minoans for one thing, and forcing them to recall their regions. But for another thing, the Atlanteans kept being able to acquire the most valuable card in the market. I mean, their chart made it possible for them to constantly do that. So they were constantly acquiring high-value cards throughout the game. So I think that's it's probably a foregone conclusion that the Atlanteans are going to win. But let's tally the score anyway to make sure. So first, let's compare progress. Obviously, the Atlanteans are way ahead here. But on the other hand, we've seen it happen where one nation had a lot more progress than the other, but the other team still won. The other nation still won, just because they had more value in their cards. But in any case, as I always do this, I just do it 1 for 1. So we'll take away 3 from each side. Okay, so the Atlanteans are left with 20 victory points here. So I'll try to find 20 victory points in the Minoan deck to balance that out. Okay, so here I've come up with 20 victory points from the Minoans cards. These are asterisk cards, so they're worth 5 each, so that's 10. And then we have 10 points here. So that balances out those 20 victory points. So, let's count up the rest of the cards. Both sides had one unrest card each left, so those balance each other out. So as usual, I've lined up the cards next to each other in a column here, and we'll just go down the column, matching victory points up one for one. And we'll see, whoever has the longer column of cards will be the winner. Okay, here we go. So here are cards that match up with each other by victory point value. And here's some more, and then oh, well, there's all that. All right, so after just doing progress tokens, the Minoans and the Minoans only had 2 victory points. That's it. That's all they had left in their entire hand, or in their entire deck. Okay, so all these cards here are worth 53 victory points. So the Atlanteans win in a landslide by 53 victory points. It just wasn't even close. All right, well, there you have it. The Atlanteans beat the Minoans. So there you have it. The Atlanteans beat the Minoans and move on in our tournament. The Minoans are now knocked out. So that completes half of the first round. So, so we have another 4 games to go before we finish the first round. Next up will be the Greeks versus the Olmecs. So I hope you join me for that game next time. So then, bye.